Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 16 of season 2 of the F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory. Yes, of course, today back once again, this time around here at Marina Bay. Of course, Marina Bay actually been in the news this week as well. Apparently, we might get 2 Singapore Grand Prix in F1 2022. We'll have to wait and see about that one just yet. But of course, if you guys aren't already, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed as well. A massive thank you to all of you that have helped us cross now over 42,000 subscribers. So, 43k up next, the big goal 50k this year. If you can help me get one step closer, it would be greatly appreciated as well there. But this weekend though, big upgrades coming in from the team means now we've jumped ahead of those the three A's, as I'm dubbing them, in this career mode there. AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, and Alpine we're now ahead of in the R&D there. We've still got another upgrade in the works, which should be done after this weekend. But yeah, making good progress. Next up, of course, we've got to try and close up the gap to Ferrari and McLaren there. I want to try and be, sort of with them by the end of the season. But yeah, making really good progress at this stage of the game there. And like I said, of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live from the Russian Grand Prix, I would definitely recommend going back and checking that one out as well. But championship-wise, we're currently still in 10th place at the moment there. 68 points for us, still just 14 points though for our teammate George Russell there, down in 15th place. Means we're currently still 6th in the Constructors' Championship, extending the gap to Alpine. Losing a little bit to AlphaTauri, though, at the same time. But Singapore has often been a track that I quite like. I get on well with on F1 2021. And nowadays, where we've put so much effort into the aero and the chassis, might not be a bad track for the car either. Let's get into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Well, here we are then, back at Marina Bay. Really intrigued to see how we get on with all the new upgrades on the car this weekend. Hoping it can try and push us so at least both George and I are able to fight for top 10s in qualifying and then good solid points during races there, as Lando Norris immediately sets the pace on a 1:34.9. Yeah, next up, of course, for us, the goal is to try and close up to Ferrari and McLaren there. But nice now that, we've got that little bit in the back pocket over Alpine and AlphaTauri there, of course, as well as Aston Martin. Maybe we could close up to AlphaTauri by the end of the year. There's been a real push by the boys back at the factory to make sure that all the upgrades are going on the car as intended. Oh, we just run a bit wide at the end of Sector 1. But yeah, just got to try and get a lap in today. Of course, Singapore, one of the longest laps on the F1 calendar. And there's a threat of rain tomorrow. So Singapore in the wet, in a Williams. This could be a bit of a long weekend there, as Max Verstappen now finds another 10th over the time Lando Norris has set. We're just sliding our way through the Singapore streets. Often struggle to get the front end of this Williams pointed into some corners, especially around Singapore. I don't know what it is. Saturday, the car just never quite feels the way I want it to around this track. But as we round the final couple of corners, I will nudge the wall at the final couple of turns there. It's going to horrible understeer at the final corner. Got to try and set the lap though. It's a 37.0. Slower than Schumacher in the Haas. That was pretty awful when all is said and done. Right, let's try again then here. Qualifying at Singapore. Let's see if we can try and get actually, a full lap hooked up this time round. There was definitely a bit of time to find through the first part of the lap as well there, as we really attack the curbs through turn 1 and turn 2 there. Got to try and get it nailed there. Of course, street track, like every Formula 1 circuit, you got to make them as wide as possible, but tracks like Singapore and Monaco, that means more than anywhere else there, as we get right up towards the wall as we head onto the Raffles Boulevard here. Activate the DRS, keep it over on the right hand side, braking just at the 100, and there we go. Can get the car slowed down into there as purple through that first sector. So, I mean, we're running 9-10 wings.
George is faster.
Oh, we've nudged the wall again. Yeah, I mean, we're running 9-10 wings here. So we shouldn't be that quick down the straights. It's certainly not the way I've taken the setup, but now we're going to lose a little bit around a lot of the lap, and then hopefully at least get closer to a representative when we get to the line. Really attacking the curbs as we head in towards the final sector of the lap. Just make sure we don't run wide and hit the wall again. Oh, we're taking a lot of curb there. But are we going to find a lot of time around in the final corner? We can actually get it close to an apex this time round. No, we're not. It's 600ths of a second there. What is wrong with us in qualifying here at Singapore? We definitely obviously lost a lot of time as the lap unfolded there with the damage. But we need at least another second. At least than I thought at the moment. The gap to George Russell, 2 seconds as we get ready then for our final qualifying lap here in Singapore. Big kick of oversteer there. Got to be careful of that when we get on the lap. But this is going to have to be a very, very committed lap there as we head out of the final corner. Committed, but no mistakes whatsoever. We've got no more room for error here as we break down 100-meter board. Didn't quite get the car over the turn 1 curb like I would have wanted there, but trying to avoid the curb through turn 3. Short shift on the way out there, but still a couple of tenths down as we head out of the first sector. Try and make the track again as wide as possible here, but we're still losing time everywhere. I just seem to have no confidence in the car around this venue at the moment there. I was really not expecting this to be the case here at Singapore as we try and keep it clean and tidy in through sector 2. Perhaps it just took a couple of laps to sort of get my eye in, and now, of course, the Delta should come back the other way, where we haven't got any front wing damage to contend with, or at least not yet. But this will be the last lap of qualifying then. Oh, no! What is going on? Car just doesn't feel like anything I've driven before on F1 2021 there, and a load of time thrown away once more. Like I said, we still should be able to find time in the final sector of the lap, but this has arguably been one of the worst qualifying sessions I've had on F1 2021 there. Just got to concentrate through the final sectors, or again, just not getting the car anywhere close to where we want it at the moment. Trying to just navigate our way through the tunnel in towards the final couple of corners there. Attack the curbs nicely as we put the power down out towards the final corner though. Just got to try and get this final turn nailed. Full commitment up towards the line. We do find a lot of time, but it's only P17 in the end. That was bizarre and awful.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Verstappen, Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well, there we go then. Max Verstappen on the pole here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Still leads the way in further extending his margin over Lewis Hamilton there. But it's both Mercs, then both Ferraris. Perez all the way down in 7th place there. But we were down with the Alfa Romeos and the Haas cars when all is said and done there. 1.4 seconds away from our teammate George Russell. Now, there was easily another sort of half a second there had I not made that mistake over the Anderson Bridge, but that would have left us still in a bit of no man's land behind Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi there. We have, however, set up the car so it should be stronger in the wet, but just things aren't clicking here in Singapore. Hopefully, they can in the race.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, and Perez, Norris, Gasly, Vettel, and George Russell, Bottas, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, and Giovinazzi, Mr. Monaco, Tsunoda, Nikita Mazepin, and Esteban Ocon. They've taken a grid penalty. Latifi and Mick Schumacher. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well, here we are then. Trackside here for the Singapore Grand Prix, round 16 of the year. And like I said, rain predicted later on in the GP. They're meant to go from pretty clear to cloudy to heavy rain, and then it's meant to sort of taper off later on in the afternoon. But yeah, going to be a long, long race ahead of us though here today. Like they said in the intro, Singapore very much an endurance event on F1 at 2021 there. So we've just got to keep our head down and focus, I think, today, and try and see what sort of points we can walk away with, if any at all there. But a lot of grid penalties as well means we're up to P15 then for the start. But let's just get into it then. Starting on the mediums, might see how far they go, and then depending on the weather, we'll try to avoid the hards and go onto a set of softs if required there. But yeah, let's get into it then here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Round 16 of the year, waiting on those 5 red lights. And it's gonna be lights out and away we go. And actually getting off to a really nice start there, straight past Antonio Giovinazzi. As what on earth has gone on there? Kimi Raikkonen immediately out of the Grand Prix. And we just had nowhere to go off the start there. Safety car's been deployed as well.
Due to a build-up of debris on the track, they are out of the race. There have been further incidents out on the track, so the officials are moving to a full safety car.
What are we meant to do there? That's the second time in the last 3 races then. Obviously, Monza, very, very different circumstances, but twice now we've ended up getting roped into a collision there. They were 3 wide in front of me.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
I'm guessing Kimi moved over because he was going to run into someone, and then of course hit the car in front of him, and we were just left with nowhere to go in towards someone because they were completely stopped and moved right over in front of me. But we've somehow only picked up front wing damage from that. We haven't lost anything else on the car, no sort of floor damage or anything like that. But we're going to have to limp back round to the pit lane here, get a new front wing on, and then we're going to try and keep the strategy as close as possible here. But yeah, chaotic start then to the Singapore Grand Prix. What on earth is going on in the Williams RTG at the moment? Coming into the pit lane then at the end of lap 1. Of course, we are going to re-emerge right at the rear of the field. Just got to make sure we get the car slowed down there. Nicholas Latifi with a 5-second time penalty as well. Of course, he's been under a lot of scrutiny early on here at the start of the Real Life 2022 campaign. But yeah, we are, like I said, they're going to re-emerge right at the back of the field here. Fresh set of mediums, though, probably not going to make much difference. And, of course, a new front wing as well, which hopefully will make a lot of difference. But yeah, not the start we would have wanted here in Singapore. Another chaotic scenes.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes' time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, apparently the rain's going to come really early on then in this GP. I had wondered, of course, because the safety cars come out, it was obviously going to bring that predicted rain a whole lot sooner. But I wasn't expecting by sort of lap 6, lap 7 then of the Singapore Grand Prix. If the guys on the softs can make it to the pit stop window, they are sorted. However, for myself, Esteban Ocon, and maybe a couple of others, if they can, we could be in a golden position. Right, the safety car in then at the end of lap 3. And yeah, now the question, of course, is just when will the rain come, and just how heavy is it going to be early on in this stint as we head through the final few corners, desperately trying to get some heat into the tyres. They aren't probably going to fire up as well as those soft compound on a lot of other cars around us, but again, if they can't make it to the wet period and we can, we could be in a golden position later on in the afternoon here. But Max Verstappen's going to lead the way once again. They're after a dramatic start to this race here in Singapore. But Marina Bay is going to hear the sound of Formula 1 cars revving up once again. Saw a little bit of Constantina up through the final corner there, but it is green flag racing here once again from Singapore. Of course, Latifi's got that 5-second time penalty to try and navigate as well at some point. But we're just going to have to wait and see there as immediately, look at this, everyone Constantina up, and we've now got a much quicker car than the Haas that we're trying to battle with. It's not quite the My Team car, but it certainly, yeah, should easily sail past this Haas there as we try and get a run out onto the Raffles Boulevard once more. Don't think we're going to this time. Actually, you're saying that. We get a look towards the inside of Mick Schumacher there, nice and tidy on the brakes. A little kick there from the rear end.
Great manoeuvre. You made it look easy.
And that's our first car navigated then here off the restart. So, I mean, we've got a lap's fresher tyres than these guys, but of course, most of that lap fresher, they were behind a safety car anyway. So just got to keep it clean, keep it tidy here. Don't want to go for too many risky moves straight off the restart. So like I said, I'm just sort of wondering what position we'll be in later on. But up the inside of Nicholas Latifi will go. Squeeze him out. Thank you very much. P17 now, as Schumacher tried to follow us past his teammate. I don't really get the sense that Esteban Ocon's going to be feisty enough to make a move on Nikita Mazepin over these next couple of laps, so we're going to again try and have a look towards the inside of another car. Of course, Ocon on the same tyres as me, so should make it a little bit easier there. You know, we're not going up against some soft tyres. We just slot past him. Having to be fairly sort of firm with these moves early on. Not always the way I like to race, but especially around a track like Singapore, we've kind of got to make people sort of back out of it. Can we do the same thing to Mazepin as we did to Latifi? Of course, one Haas car against a former Haas driver. No, this time around we just nudged the curbs there. That's not going to allow us to get close enough as all Ocon thought about it. We were trying to give ourselves a good run off the exit, but not going to happen. Mazepin there, really kicking the back end out as we went through the final couple of turns. We really attacked the curbs out of the final corner. DRS to be enabled.
DRS is now enabled.
A load of cars already into the pit lane as well. We're going to go clean around the outside of Nikita through turn 1. Don't think we often see moves there, but like I remember anyway. And now I'm at P11 now of the Grand Prix. So yeah, really early from the AI to be boxing. What are the teams saying about the weather?
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes. Dry seem like the best tyre for now.
Weather's going the other way again. So, I mean, we've still got a fair advantage, though, over all the guys that are going to have to pit, which is basically everyone else in this GP. There is genuine possibility here that Esteban and Ocon and I could bag a 1-2. Well, we got past one Alpine just a lap and a half ago, but Yuki Tsunoda again sliding his way around the final couple of corners. He's going to box, though, as well as a whole host of other cars.
Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
So teams still can't really decide how long the rain's going to be. But we are now, yeah, a bit of P5 then of the GP. And who would have thought it would be two Aston Martins on the podium early on there. I want to say it's George in P2, though. That would be a turnout for the books. I'd love to see Russell get another podium. Well, there we go. Even more into the box. Are we? No, not quite going to be into the lead of the Grand Prix. As there we go, it was George Russell
George is coming
in P2.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
And the old King of Singapore leads once again then
confirmed.
Here. And that, of course, is Sebastian Vettel then. Haven't seen him lead much on F1 2021 as Hamilton new fastest lap of the day. But yeah, that's a bit special, seeing Sebastian Vettel back on top in Formula 1, maybe for the last time. There we go then, end of lap 8. Sebastian Vettel will relinquish the lead then of the Singapore Grand Prix. But you know, those laps, they'll go into the record book for Seb as well then. And now we've got to see what the gap's going to be like. So about 11 seconds to Max Verstappen.
Car is out. We need you to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track.
No idea what's happened there. I can't see anyone with issues in the Singapore Grand Prix. But yeah, now, of course, it's Ocon and I that lead the way here. Of course, no reason to pit just yet, but two safety cars inside the first 10 laps here of the Singapore Grand Prix. Do I risk it and go onto a set of soft compound tyres? I don't think it's worth it at the moment. We're just kind of waiting for the rain to come. But that, yeah, has completely destroyed the advantage Ocon and I had. But we've got to try and hope that Esteban can act as a rear gunner for us today. as Charles Leclerc double stinting a set of soft tyres early on. So he is taking a big gamble and hoping the rain arrives quite soon. But one safety car, we were right at the back. 9 laps later, we're leading. Oh no, Ocon, why? Esteban Ocon's pit in this GP there. We've actually got quite a few cars in. Charles Leclerc has opted that maybe his strategy wasn't quite the way to go. But why, Esteban? I wanted some help.
Now. Do not pass it. You are the leader. Follow the safety car.
Oh, that's heartbreaking from Sebastian Vettel, but at least we get a good look at the new Aston Martin, at least. That thing is just pure sex on wheels, I think.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
Teams still aren't decided then on when the rain's going to arrive. If it was based on their first call, it would have been about 2 laps ago. Right, well here we are then, about to go green flag racing once more here from Singapore, and just how many more safety cars can we end up in this race today then? But got Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton breathing down our neck. Of course, other safety car restarts this year. Thinking of France, Verstappen got very feisty very quickly to move past us and didn't quite work out for the Dutchman here. But as we get ready then to go green once more from Singapore, we're just going to try and control the pace right up until the final corner. And we'll probably just try and go while I can get fully on the throttle. But the cars behind can't. There is their Peels in the safety car once more. And let's get ready to go green then as we head out of the final corner. Oh, no. Oh, that was awful. Tried to get a load of throttle on it. Completely the wrong point there is now. There we go. We're starting to see some rain on the visor. So rain is on the way as Max Verstappen immediately down the inside in towards turn 2 there. Has given me floor damage by the looks of it. And that I'm not happy with from the Dutchman. We're going to try and squeeze him out on the exit of the corner.
Try not to make it any worse.
I would try not to make it bad in the first place there, but Max Verstappen trying to be super aggressive once again on a safety car restart there, and Hamilton now going to try and look up the inside there. He's pulled off the move on the Dutchman, so it's all kicking off on this restart there. The rain starting to make the track just a little bit slippery as well there. I don't know if that's a combination of some floor damage there from what Verstappen did.
A little damage. Watch out for it.
Yeah, it's definitely making the car a little bit more unstable here, as that is not what you want in a rain-soaked street race. But yeah, we just got to try and keep our head down and focus at the moment. Oh, there goes Hamilton. Why the AI just out of nowhere today? Being super aggressive there. Hamilton couldn't pull off the move either, though. We are trying to hold firm against these two championship protagonists. I'm sure, yeah, I've probably been scraped off both their Christmas card list almost immediately on this restart. But yeah, we are trying to hang on, because I genuinely believe there's a big chance at a big result today, and I'm not going to throw it away by letting these cars through and not battling with them. Oh, here comes Hamilton.
Conditions aren't improving. It's your choice as to whether you want to fit the wets next time you come in.
We're definitely going to be going on to Inters next time we pit in this GP there as well. Hamilton thought about it in a similar vein to what Verstappen did, but Max had to pit again. I think Daniel Ricciardo had to box as well just behind him there as we get a horrible run through turn 4 there. Luckily just about park it on the racing line, as now we've got a 3-second gap to Carlos Sainz.
Right tyres for the time being.
Team still think we're on the right tyres at the moment, but it's not going to be long before we have to pit onto Inters there. As look at that, both Red Bulls had to pit at the end of lap 12 there, so they've had a nightmare restart here in Singapore.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
Right, well, DRS has now been re-enabled in this Singapore Grand Prix, but now it's only going to be a matter of a few laps.
By about 0.3 a lap.
Yeah, not going to be long until that DRS is probably disabled again. So we've done pretty well on these mediums so far, but just got to try and stretch them out a few more laps. As the rain, yeah, isn't as heavy as I originally thought it would fall down. Apparently it was meant to go from nothing to pretty stormy, but apparently not. Well, we're keeping Hamilton at bay still at the moment. He's not really getting a chance to have a look. Did he just run into the back of me through the final sector? Yes, he did!
Has resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. The safety car is being deployed.
Hamilton, I was literally just saying, hadn't seemed to have done anything crazy over the last couple of laps. They're kind of just watching us go around, and immediately the Mercedes rams into the back of me, and we've ended up with a third safety car then here in the Singapore Grand Prix. I guess the question now, of course, is when are we going to have to pit for those Inters, because this could really shake up the order here. But Hamilton and Verstappen then both crashing into me. Don't think either of them were really my fault at all. Let me know down in the comments below. But 3 safety cars early on, and surely by the time this one comes in, we're all going to have to be moving on over to Inters.
We're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change.
There we go then. That's the call from the team. We're going to box at the end of this lap. I mean, this could really make or break our afternoon here. This could be the difference between us maybe battling for the win or a podium to maybe scraping up together a few points. So wondering what this race could have been. But are we going to see anyone else in? Oh, we're not! Oh no, why is no one else boxing in this Grand Prix there? We run horribly out of the safety car line. Hamilton's out.
You're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
What on earth is going on then? Hamilton out now of this Grand Prix there. But surely we're going to have to see other cars pit over the next few laps here. The team have told us they don't believe it's the right way to go as they're changing the wing again. Didn't know we picked up any damage there. But crazy scenes here from Singapore. This race has had everything so far, as apparently we did have front wing damage then, don't remember that. But of course, if say for example safety car comes in now. Yes, let's say the safety car comes in the end of this lap and then everyone has to box in as well. We could then re-emerge again with a huge lead here, but it's just a case of whether the track's damp enough. It's getting there, it's definitely getting there, but I don't know if it's there yet. Well, it's definitely getting a bit more spray being kicked up by other cars, but we've led 2 periods under safety car. We've also been at the back on 2 safety car restarts. This race has really had everything so far, but are we now going to see a load of other cars peel into the pit lane? And if so, how soon will it be? Because of course every lap that these guys have got an advantage over us could really hamper us. We could take these tyres to the end if we needed to. I guess that's the other question at the moment, but there's a lot of spray being kicked up by all the other cars here. Surely now is the time to make the crossover. But anyway, about to go green flag racing once again then here from Singapore. Are we seeing cars into the pits? I think we are. Look at that, we are seeing pretty much everyone into the pit lane here. Perez and one of the McLarens there, as well as I think that's a Haas car, have had to stay out. But everyone else into the pit lane, including our teammate George Russell. So we might have accidentally nailed this then. I was so worried there as Nicholas Latifi suddenly leads the Grand Prix in a Haas. Haas legitimately lead a race in this career mode, but surely these guys have got nothing in comparison at the moment there. We immediately out-traction Sergio Perez down in towards the next corner there. Cut him off at the apex, and yeah, look at this, we got so much more grip.
Disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
Oh, DRS disabled there as Daniel Ricciardo tried to give me a big old squeeze. Oh, there's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact down towards the next apex there, and look at this, just darting this way and that between these slower cars there, and back into the lead we go then of the Singapore Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz 15 seconds back with 14 laps to go here. He might lose a bit of time behind these guys as well. What is going on here in Singapore? This is just insane. And are we going to see those cars just slow up Carlos Sainz a little bit? Because he must be sensing there's a big opportunity as well today for him to win a Grand Prix. I think Russell might be up in like P4 at the moment there, because of course he didn't have to wait for anyone in the pit lane there. So our teammate George Russell might have really gained during all of this as well there. Sainz is going to re-inherit P2 of the Grand Prix. And look at that, George Russell up in a P3 here of the Singapore Grand Prix. And he's got Tsunoda and Gasly behind him. We could legitimately be on for a Williams double podium in this Grand Prix here. I think the big question for us, of course, is how quickly is Sainz going to be able to close up. But this race has been just carnaged up until now. But we've still got a long old way to go. 11 laps to go then here from Singapore, and that gap to Carlos Sainz is not coming down by a lot at all. Each lap there, Sainz is pushing like crazy to try and bring the gap down, and it is probably coming down still.
A lap to the car behind, 1 second.
There we go, a second a lap to Carlos Sainz there, but of course that would mean he'd only get 1 lap to really pressure us here, and I fancy my chances being able to defend against a Ferrari if we're able to from Hamilton for so long. But yeah, really just got to keep our head down. Can't focus too much on the finish yet. We've still got a lot of racing to go in one of the most challenging conditions I've ever had on F1 2021. In one of the most challenging cars on F1 2021. With some of the most challenging damage on F1 2021. It is all stacked against me still. If we pull this one off, this is probably my drive of the game.
The rain is getting lighter brighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out.
Oh, there we go. Less than 10 laps to go, as that's what I'm worried about still at the moment. Back end occasionally. Well, I don't know whether it's just the floor stalling or something like that. Just occasionally just snaps around on us, but rain is apparently getting lighter again. So might be able to have a little bit more confidence in the car, but you can see mistakes like that immediately just give Sainz a good second or so.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
What are the teams saying? They want us to come back in?
Okay,
Definitely not. I say definitely not, so I accidentally click confirm. We are not pitting again between now and the end. Oh, we got more yellow flags out. That's the McLaren there. Guessing Daniel Ricciardo, but could be Lando Norris, to be honest. Please don't be another safety car. Please don't be another safety car F1 2021. As they are going to pull off, hopefully out of the way down at turn 1. But yeah, just trying to trickle our way around there as Lando Norris, yeah, out of the Singapore Grand Prix. Had a pretty quiet race so far. I'm sure he's disappointed, but probably not heartbroken. Yeah, definitely not worth pitting here. I would have felt gutted had we pitted and then everyone else has stayed out, because I don't think we would have had much more pace than what we've got in the car anyway at the moment. But 7 laps to go. Sainz, 7 seconds back. He is closing up. It could be a 1-lap battle right at the end. But, oh, kind of warning for track limits there. Got to be careful of that.
At the moment, the car behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
Yep, and with 6 laps to go, Jeff, that's not going to matter, because he might be a 10th behind us when we get to the checkered flag. But as long as he's a 10th behind and not a 10th in front, I don't mind. Could we be on for Williams' first race win in 10 seasons of Formula 1? Of course, Pastor Maldonado took that shock victory back in Spain 2012.
Right tyres at the moment.
And of course, before that, it was Brazil 2004. The time a Williams won a race before Maldonado. It's been a long old time. Their last double podium might have been Brazil, but could be even further back than that, for all I know, in all honesty. Unless, no, they had a couple of double podiums back in 2014, I think. But, yeah, sort of besides the point. A win and another car on the podium. 5 laps to go then. The gap 5.5 seconds to Carlos Sainz there. We are just... only just doing enough at the moment, but we are doing enough. That's the key thing here. Don't need to suddenly try and chase tenths of a second here and little braking points there, because we are doing enough right now. And honestly, rather than being the Ayrton Senna, I'd rather be the Alain Prost in this one and just get to the end in the safest way possible with the most points possible. Oh! Oh! I just said about trying not to chase tenths of a second there. We almost completely stacked it over the Anderson Bridge. That was what I call close. 3 laps to go. I think Carlos Sainz is trying to up the ante at the moment there. He's really now starting to push. We lost close to 2 seconds on that lap, but we've just got to try and do enough to keep the Ferrari at bay here. And Carlos Sainz here is pushing like crazy to make something work. He wants his first ever F1 victory as well in what has been a crazy race. 2 laps to go. Track's really starting to dry out and it's giving these guys a huge advantage over myself at the moment. The AI, when on a drying track on intermediates, has such a big advantage through the corners and in the traction zones, but at the moment we've got 2 more laps to try and keep Carlos Sainz at bay here in Marina Bay. What are we going to be able to do? We've got to make sure we just use battery down the straight, and it doesn't look like Sainz has got enough down the straight, which is really, really important here, because that just means we can sit on the apexes. There is our Sainz again, just like we saw Verstappen and Hamilton try. Sainz there trying to make a move work up the inside. I don't know if he hit me. I don't know if Sainz went into the back of me there. Let's just wait and see what the Delta does through the next corner. No, I don't think he did there. So that tiny correction we made avoided contact between myself and the Spaniard here, but we are just going to hold firm right until the bitter end of this one. I am not willing to throw away the first shot at a Williams victory here in this career mode, as we immediately almost throw away the first shot at a victory in the Williams career mode here. Just ran a bit deep in towards the next corner there, but Sainz, that 55 car, Ferrari, you know, they want to be back on top. Sainz wants to be on top for the first time in Formula 1 as well. He will do anything, I'm sure he can, to win this race today. But it's a huge race for Ferrari as well, as they try and stick close to McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. We just got to try and roll on the power out onto the back straight. And yeah, we've got just over a lap to go then to try and hang on here. No errors, no risks. Come on. We can do this in, like I said, what has been arguably the weirdest race I've had on F1 2021. Singapore, changeable conditions, pretty much damage. I mean, we got almost completely wiped out down in turn 1. How we survived that without losing a wheel, I'll never know. There is, look at that. Making sure we don't do too many of those in the dying stages here. But yeah, damage that almost took us out of the race at turn 1. We were right at the back of the field at the end of the first safety car restart there. Managed the tyres quite nicely. Made the optimum strategy there in the first stint. So by the time the second safety car came out, we were in the lead. 1 lap to go.
11.3 seconds.
As George Russell is really taking time out of me as well there. But 1 lap to go then of the Singapore Grand Prix. And I was so worried that Sainz was going to send it again there out of turn 1. We slammed the door shut through the exit of turn 3 and then just park it on the entrance to the Raffles Boulevard. This will be Sainz's big chance to gain, but we're going to use battery. Everything we've got left in the car here is going to get thrown at this final lap. Braking nice and early though, down in towards turn 5. But we've just got to keep it on the island now. We're losing so much time, even to our teammate George Russell at the moment, but I absolutely do not care. As long as that Scarlet Ferrari is in the mirrors, I really am not bothered here. As rounding our way, sneaking around this Singapore street circuit. It's often delivered crazy races in Formula 1. You know, 2008, 2017 are sort of the two that stick to mind here. It's always been a track that suited Ferrari as well quite nicely in the turbo hybrid era. Sainz there again, you can see the desperation. He looks to the outside through the hairpin there off the Anderson Bridge, but again, we just cover it off to the best of our abilities here. Breaking down now in towards the final sector. It's been so long since we saw Williams on top in Formula 1. Like I said, just 1 race victory since 2004. Pastor Maldonado, the Spanish Grand Prix of 2010. The last time I think they got a double podium was 2014 Abu Dhabi. They might have had one at Monza 2015 or 2016 here. But round in the final few corners of the Singapore Grand Prix, Williams today in the road to glory are going to be back on top once more there. We've just got 1 more corner to defend from Carlos Sainz, and George Russell is going to join us on the podium. Get in there.
I need a moment. Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
Well done, Williams. Certainly showing what they're made of out there today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Williams have put in an incredible performance out on the track today. I'm glad all the hard work of theirs has finally paid off. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula 1.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we go then, guys. The Williams Road to Glory is done. It took us an hour. The longest race, I think, well, obviously excluding that 100% race we did at Imola, that must be the longest race I've done on F1 2021 there, and it came down to a 10th of a second at the line between myself and Carlos Sainz. But 15th on the grid, I think we've done Fernando Alonso proud there as well. 15th to 1st at Singapore. Doesn't happen often in Formula 1, but it has once again today then. Sainz in 2nd ahead of George Russell there. 10th to 3rd for our teammate there. I don't know who it was down on the Williams pit wall who thought we should pit under that safety car, but it was the strategy of dreams for both myself and George there, because of course it meant he didn't have to double stack when he got called into the box and was able to re-emerge ahead of the likes of Tsunoda and Gasly there. Bottas makes small gains on the top guys in the championship. Seb Vettel in P7 there ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen, with Ocon in 10th place there. Mazepin only 1 place outside scoring points there, and Schumacher in the Haas as well in P12 there. Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen all not making it though to the checkered flag. Means championship wise, Verstappen now with a 23-point lead in the table, but Bottas did gain a little bit on the pair of them there. The gap back down to 32 in the top 3. Sainz now tied with Pierre Gasly once more, but we're just 3 points away from them. Charles Leclerc now behind us once more through a further 3 points back. Russell gets the jump on Vettel there up into P13, and surely this means big gains on Alpine in the Constructors' Championship as well. The gap there down to 7 as we get ready for the final 7 races of this championship. But Mercedes still further extending their lead at the front there. Ferrari, like we said, made big gains on McLaren as well with that result, and yeah, we just further push ourselves away from Alpine, and now we've been given a lifeline here to hopefully close up the gap to AlphaTauri. But what a race that's been here from Singapore. Season 3, we definitely want to be challenging for wins week in and week out there. But thank you all so much for watching this video as well. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon with more F1 2021 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.